So you found yourself down a rabbit hole of goal setting, but never actually achieving anything. Like, you've bought new journals and fancy pens and everything, but you never seem to get the thing that you wrote down. We are fixing that today. I'm going to walk you through how we're going to make 2025 actually your year and not in an ironic way. And frankly, you're going to be done and dusted with those goals that in the next 3 months if you stick with me. So I will see you back here to set some more goals. Hello again, 3 months in the future, people. Did the lizard people take over in the end?
Lizard people?
So, you're not daft enough to think that I'm going to solve your entire life in one video. So I've made this into a mini-series, walking through the whole process from setting your goals to actually achieving them. There's links to the rest of this series in the description. I've made them into a playlist as well. Plus, there's a full-length video of all of them smushed together if you just want to power through with a cup of tea. Or wine. I'm not judging. Totally am judging. So if you saw my video on goal setting, then you're going to have a lovely juicy goal that you're actually excited to get to. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's brilliant if I do say so myself. So we're going to be focusing on this one goal exclusively for 90 days, 12 weeks, 3 months, whichever way of slicing it fits into your brain the best. Now I call these sprints because 90 days is short enough to stay focused without burning your brain out, but it's long enough to get results. 90 days is also short enough to take advantage of what I call deadline mode, after this cool animation by Digitally Baffled.
The deadline approaches without mercy, and I stare at an empty screen.
We procrastinated for too long, and now we suffer.
Yes, thank you for the reminder, Brain. Now can you do that thing that makes us do all the doings in the last minute?
I will never not share that. I think it's hilarious. So you spend ages doing random shit because you've got all the time in the world. Then the deadline appears on the horizon like a pissed off rhino, and suddenly you find the focus of a Zen monk from absolutely nowhere. That's why you never do much with your yearly goals until around October, when suddenly it dawns on you that it's nearly December and you've got shit to do. So in our sprint, we're going to take full advantage of deadline mode.
Deadline mode.
And basically, we're going to give ourselves 4 shots at activating this productivity witchcraft before this next year is out. So the plan is to come up with a strategy that has got the best chance of working, plus a daily habit that on its own will get you more than half the way there. Now, these aren't new concepts, but I've not seen anybody else kind of smush them together like this. So, grab your notebook or a fresh Google Doc, however you want to work, write down all the different ways that you could achieve your goal, because there's more than one way to skin a cat. Now, don't censor it or put limitations on yourself. We're just brainstorming ideas. How many ideas can you come up with? Try for at least 10. Now, if you've got my downloadable workbook, the space in the workbook for all this, links in the description if you fancy picking that up. Now, if you don't have an idea on strategies, a quick Google usually will pull up a ton of different ways. Find somebody that's achieved what you want to do and see how they achieved it. Maybe they wrote a book on it, or did an interview, or have a video about it. More money is a really good example. It's a nice, easy one. It might look like sell affiliate products, start a YouTube channel, sell physical products, sell feed pics, coaching, tutoring. You could get a raise at work. You could get a job. You could do dog walking. You could win the lottery. You could design your own line of ridiculous underwear. I don't know. Then we're going to go through your list and scratch off anything that we don't think is likely to work for us specifically. I mean, selling bonkers underwear works brilliantly for the Kardashians, but Sue from Sheffield, she might have a harder time with that. I mean, winning the lottery is nice, but we want something we've got more control over here. Now, here's something that I learned that is going to help those of you who are starting to feel that perfectionism demon creeping in and whispering in your ear. I call her Bitchy Brenda. I learned that treating things like this as an experiment and not like life or death, it really ratcheted down those feelings of I've got to pick the right strategy, I've got to get it right. There is no right one. We're simply picking the one that we think is going to be the most likely to get us the result that we want, or that we fancy the most. We're going to run the experiment, and then we're going to look at the data at the end of the 90 days. It's all just data. We have a hypothesis that if we do X, Y, Z, we're going to get A, B, C results, just like back in science class in school, only with less Bunsen burners. It's not a reflection of you as a person if the data does not support the hypothesis in the end, okay? The data isn't calling you a dickhead for trying it, just sitting there being data. So once you've picked the strategy that you feel will have the most chance of you getting to your milestone, now it's time to make a list of the things that you need to do in order to work that strategy, in order to hit that milestone. You with me? So let's go back to the money example. For example, if your big goal is to make £5,000 a month without a 9-to-5 job, the milestone here might be to earn your first £500. It's the most logical first step towards quitting your job and telling the boss to go suck a bag of donkey dicks. But the strategy you've chosen to make that money is to start a YouTube channel and get monetized. So what do we need to do to start that process of getting monetized? Well, first, we're going to need to pick a subject or a niche if you want to get fancy about it. Then we're going to set up the channel. We're going to do the artwork, the logo. We're going to do the identity checks with YouTube so we can open up all the options on our channel. And we're going to make some videos, which are going to add up to 4K watch time and 1K subscribers. So if you're subscribed and watching this, thank you. You might not know what steps you need to take, so finding out what steps to take would be the first thing on your list if you're not sure. Not knowing something, after all, is okay. I mean, if you knew how to do it, you'd probably have done it by now anyway. You've got Google, you've got YouTube, and that archaic institution called a public library at your disposal. It's easier now than ever to learn how to do something. So, we're going to put everything that you learn about what actions you need to take in that list, and then we're going to put them in a logical order. Again, if you've got my workbook, this is all done in there with you. Now, here's a step that most people miss out. Grab a diary or your favourite to-do list, calendar app. I like Todoist for this, link below. Start blocking out time in your diary for the next 12 weeks to do this stuff. I know, sounds dumb, but as the authors of the 12-week year say, most people don't have a knowledge problem. They have an implementation problem. You know enough, you're just not doing it, okay? And if it helps, I do regular work alongside with me Pomodoro lives on this channel. They're recorded, so you can put an old one on and still feel like part of the gang whilst you crack on with what you need to do. I personally love the Pomodoro technique. That's where you do like 25-minute burst of work and then have a 5-minute break. It's named after the tomato timers that everybody's nana had back in the day. I swore by this when I was studying for my degree. Honestly, it's so helpful to do it in these kind of bursts. And working alongside somebody else, even on a video, really helped. So you've got your goal, you've broken it down into a milestone, you've identified a strategy that you think is going to work, and you've got a list of actions to take, and they're in your diary. You know when you're going to do them. Now, there is a secret weapon that most people don't build into their systems, and that's covered in this next video here.